For as long as I can remember, purple has always been my favourite colour. I find it kind of peaceful and comforting. So whenever I have a creative block or I feel overwhelmed, I turn to purple shades for inspiration. My name's Jo, and I'm a full-time doll artist based on a narrowboat in Wales. Today I'm making a creepy cute button-eyed girl with bead jointed limbs and bamboo hair. I didn't have a fixed plan for this doll, so I just started with some lilac striped cotton for the arms and legs. I've already stuffed the pieces with K-pop and jointed the limbs with metal beads. I find it easiest to paint the shoes before attaching the legs to the body. I've mixed some acrylic paint in a darker purple shade and added some fabric medium. This makes the paint a little more flexible so it sits better on the fabric. I attached the legs to the body with some extra strong polyester thread. All that's needed is a stitch at each side of the leg, tight enough to hold the joint securely, but kept loose enough to allow the leg to move freely between sitting and standing positions. The torso is all going to be hidden behind fixed clothing, so I don't need to worry about hiding stitches. I just fasten off the thread at the sides and trim off the excess. The arms will be attached with a bead joint at the shoulder. They'll go on over the clothing later. I'm shading the whole eye area with Derwent Coloursoft pencils. I build up layers of black and grey to create a hollow effect. Coloured pencil allows me to build up the shading gradually so I get an even finish. Blending is important to get a good depth of colour and a soft outline. Derwent's blending pencils are brilliant for this. I'll put a link to them down in the description. Once I get the shape right on both sides, I give it a coat of fixative spray, then work on the dress while it's drying. I've made us some underwear from white cotton broderie anglaise. I've chosen some lilac quilting cotton for the dress with tiny purple flowers on it. Because I'm using a print, the bodice doesn't need too much added detail. A little white lace trim is just enough. These vintage look coat buttons look great against the shading. The lighter tones around the edges really make them stand out. I'm using Gutterman top stitch thread to attach the buttons. I want them to sit tightly against the face, so I stitch right through the head and anchor them at the back. These stitches will all be hidden by the hair. After adding the rest of the detail to the face with fine liner pens and coloured pencil, it's time to make the skirt. I've basically made a wide tube from the dress fabric with some white pleated lace and purple satin ribbon around the hem. I folded the top over and gathered it up with a running stitch using some top stitch thread. I don't really do any measuring, the dress is all done by eye, so each doll will turn out differently, and that's how I like it. I use a few pins to keep the skirt in position while I arrange the folds of fabric around the waist. A few stitches keep the skirt in place and stop it slipping. It can be tricky to sew through all those layers of fabric, so I use my hemostats to pull the needle through. A couple of stitches through the shoulder are enough to hold the arm in place. As with the legs, I don't pull the thread too tight as I want to allow for some movement. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I love the striped sleeves against the floral print of the dress. I fasten off the thread under the back of the dress where it won't show. The fibre I'm using for the hair is 100% bamboo, so it's very fine and soft. As usual, I'm needle felting it in with the Clover pen style tool. I start at the back of the head and work my way forwards. I carefully felt around the knots and stitches for the buttons, so I don't break the needles. I keep stabbing at the fibre until it holds firmly in place. This method doesn't require any glue or stitches, and it actually looks like it's rooted into the head. I keep adding more bamboo in overlapping rows, arranging the hair in the direction I want it to fall, so I don't end up with lumps and bumps. I did a lot of experimenting with different felting needles when I started. I found that the 38 gauge ones by Heidi Feathers worked the best with the materials I use, so I stuck with them. I think most needles will fit the Clover tool, but some cheaply made ones don't quite fit, or you'll find some are a bit bent. It's not worth scrimping on them. Good quality needles make felting so much easier. Now she just needs a quick trim. I chop into the lengths with a sharp pair of scissors until I'm happy with the style. A blast with a hot hairdryer will straighten out any kinks and creases and give the hair a sleek, smooth finish. I've made a choker for her from lilac satin ribbon with a silver tone leaf charm. I think it works really well with the metal beads I used for the joints. Needle felting doll's hair doesn't always go this smoothly. Watch this video next to find out what happens when it goes wrong, and I'll see you next time. Bye!